So we'll wrap things up with a quick discussion about process, how and when the checklist should be used, and a couple of key takeaways. As for when the checklist should be used, it can really be used at any stage during the building design process to summarize a step code energy model. However, it's certainly recommended at building permit and occupancy permit because that's when the step code requires energy modeling and associated submissions. An AHJ can request it at other times, especially if there are energy requirements, for example, during the pre-application, rezoning, or DP stages. And we have a little PSA there, just reminding everyone to build energy modeling into the project schedule. Because the model is often built based on permit documentation. um, for example, if a building permit were being submitted today and all consultants were completing their drawings today, the energy model would need a little bit more time to catch up and capture everything that was in those documents in order to submit it on time. So it's just a quick reminder that sometimes the model has a little bit of that delay um, because it's based on everyone else's work. As for should create checklists, it really should be someone who's comfortable with the energy inputs and results. So I think most of the time it's probably completed by the modeler and sent to any sort of coordinating professional, but it could be completed by a coordinating professional if, for example, they had the energy model report in front of them and they were able to pull out the necessary information. The only real thing requirement to kind of stay on top of is make sure that whoever is the one that completed the report is the one named in section G. And as for submitting, it goes to the local government, of course, and it should probably be provided either with the rest of the permit package or following up if there's a little bit of a delay. Um, One thing we just wanted to highlight is that there are some jurisdictions who are trying to collect this information to inform policy. We mentioned that a little bit earlier in the presentation. So you may want to ask them if they would like to receive it in Excel format, because that might just help them out and save another follow-up later on where they might request that from you. So to wrap things up, we'll touch on a few key takeaways. First, remember to use or request the checklist to clearly summarize the step code energy model whenever possible. And for the users out there, consider preparing and sending it, even if it's not mandatory in the jurisdiction where you're working. It's really good practice and it'll start to encourage consistency across the province. If you get stuck with entering information, be sure to look at the cell-by-cell user manual or the notes in the checklist themselves. And do keep going back to the step code website to check for updates. That URL is listed at the top of your screen. And most of the tools that we've been talking about today are within the Compliance Tools Part 3 subsection. So the slides from today are on the website and other recordings are as well, including Part 9. If you have any feedback on the checklist or the content of these presentations, please reach out to the email at the Building and Safety Standards branch shown on your screen. Thank you so much for joining us today and best of luck with your next StepCo project.